The air was filled with tension, and everyone in the crowd waited in excitement, although today would tragically end much differently than anyone could have expected. The starter pistol cracked, and out came the horse, an exploding mass of raw muscle and sinew, galloping furiously towards the first barrel. Poised on top of 1,000 pounds of trained, confident horse was a lean, calm, focused rider. Hands calmly but firmly clutching the reins, Regina Short and her partner moved in stunning harmony, their performance a testament to years of dedication and practice. The crowd cheered as both woman and horse ran in a cloverleaf pattern around each barrel, each turn executed with precision, her body language in perfect sync with the horse's powerful strides. As the announcer's voice boomed over the speakers, Regina, poised and focused, acknowledged the cheers with a nod, fist raised high and smiling to the crowd. This was her element. She was born for barrel racing. Yet, as fate would have it, this run would etch her name in the annals of the sport in a way no one could have anticipated. Barrel racing demands exceptional speed, control, and pinpoint precision. The rider's skill in communicating with their horse through subtle cues and the horse's ability to respond quickly and accurately are crucial to achieving the fastest time. Within the rodeo community, barrel racing is highly respected and celebrated. It's one of the few rodeo events where women take center stage, with the majority of competitors being female. The event attracts a dedicated following of fans who appreciate the incredible skill, speed, and partnership between horse and rider. Barrel racing is often seen as a symbol of the Western lifestyle and the values of horsemanship, sportsmanship, and dedication. The competitors, both human and equine, are revered for their athleticism and the countless hours of training and practice they put in to perfect their craft. The bond between horse and rider is a central theme in barrel racing, as the two must work together seamlessly to achieve success. The excitement and drama of barrel racing make it a crowd favorite at rodeos across the country. And this was Regina Short's chosen battlefield. To compete, riders have to navigate a cloverleaf pattern around 3 barrels in a high-speed race where microseconds count in the race to the finish line. Regina Short, at 56, was no stranger to the sport. A seasoned rodeo legend, she had risen through the ranks of barrel racing with a blend of natural talent and relentless hard work. Her journey was one of triumphs, setbacks, and an unwavering commitment to the sport she loved. But on a fateful day in 2023, an event unfolded that would etch her name in the annals of rodeo history in the most tragic way. What happened to this experienced, athletic barrel rider? Join us as we uncover the horrifying details of what happened to this seasoned Alabama rider and how a single moment can alter everything, leaving a community in mourning and a sport forever changed. Horses coursed through Regina's bloodline. Her relationship with barrel racing began as a child, under the vast skies of Texas, where rodeo was less a sport and more a way of life. The exhilaration and passion the young cowgirl felt would set her on a path that would define her life. Those who knew Regina spoke in awed words about her passion and skill on the back of a horse. Around the track, she was well known for her fast rides around barrels and for being a friendly face at every race. Either as a spectator or competitor, Regina was always there to help and cheer up everyone. Her riding was impressive, and so was the way she treated people, always with a smile and a helping hand. Like any diehard cowgirl, she helped where she could without any complaints. Horses were dear to Regina. She was a member of the Covington Equine Association, as well as a core attendee of national rodeo shows, where barrel racing events took place, like the one that would turn out to be her final rodeo. While barrel racing is considered a safe sport, especially when compared to other equestrian sports, riding a horse always carries its own risks. The possibilities of injuries were lesser, but the rewards in adrenaline and self-assurance were the same. While still finding her footing on professional barrel racings in her youth, Regina suffered her share of painful cuts and injuries, but she refused to let that break down her unending love for the sport. If you're unfamiliar with barrel racing, here's how it works. The rider begins at a designated starting point and must sprint on horseback to complete a cloverleaf pattern around 3 preset barrels. The timer starts as soon as the horse and rider cross the start line and stops when they complete the pattern and cross the finish line. The rider must navigate the barrels in a precise order, typically in a cloverleaf pattern, without knocking any barrels over. Touching the barrels is allowed, but knocking them over incurs a time penalty, usually adding 5 seconds to the rider's final time. To qualify, the rider must complete the cloverleaf pattern correctly. Failing to follow the pattern results in disqualification. If the rider completes the pattern without any penalties, their time is used to determine their score, with the fastest time winning. This rapid, precise maneuvering around the barrels is designed to test the horse and rider's athleticism, coordination, and speed. The clock only stops when the pattern is completed, and winning is often determined by as little as 1/100th of a second. As such, every second quite literally counts. As a seasoned veteran in barrel racing, Regina was a respected figure in the rodeo community and was on the way to becoming a mentoring legend when destiny took a sudden, tragic turn. It was January 7th, 2023, at the Baker Arena Community Center in Okaloosa, Florida. Regina was competing in a tour event organized by the National Barrel Horse Association and was confident of victory. The minutes flew by as names were called, to the responding cheers of the crowd and excited nickers from horses. In no time, it was her turn. The other riders wished Regina well. Grabbing the reins with a firm grip, Regina nodded her readiness to the gate operator. At the buzzer, woman and horse exploded into the arena, with Regina comfortably atop the horse's back, a ride she had done thousands of times before. Seasoned and composed as ever, Regina gracefully guided her horse through the barrel racing course with the hard-earned expertise garnered over the years. Together, they wove around each barrel with precision, their movements a testament to countless hours of practice and a deep mutual understanding. The crowd watched, enraptured by their skill and grace, as they executed the cloverleaf pattern flawlessly, showcasing the pinnacle of barrel racing artistry. With one final successful pivot around the final barrel, Regina let out a sigh of relief. Victory was in sight. However, as they finished their run, the unexpected happened. As they left the racing arena down an exit ramp, an unforeseen shift in her horse's gait threw off their rhythm. Regina, caught off guard by the abrupt change, was thrown from her mount, as unexpected inertia launched her skyward. Regina likely felt the initial shock and confusion as the growing dread of something going terribly wrong coursed through her system. Those seconds in the air probably felt like an eternity. Gravity took over, pulling Regina downward back to earth again. As a seasoned rider, Regina Short had taken her fair share of spills from bucking horses, but today, Regina would not be able to walk away. As she traveled through the air, Regina's body collided with a large wooden pole before coming back to the ground. It was a fluke incident, a bucking horse at the wrong place at the wrong time. The arena, seconds ago filled with cheers, fell into a stunned silence at the freak accident that happened right in front of them. Rodeo staff and medical personnel raced to the scene as Regina lay motionless, her fall marking a devastating turn in an event that celebrated the bond between horse and rider. What about Regina's protective gear? In the world of barrel racing, gear that should shield riders is often absent. Regina, like many others, relied on skill and trust in her horse, not on helmets or safety vests. In this sport, where split-second decisions lead to triumph or fall, the absence of protective gear speaks to the raw courage and stark risks taken by riders, risks that, in the past, have had fatal consequences. When it comes to equestrian accidents, the severity of injuries can vary significantly depending on the speed and nature of the incident. If they occur at a slower pace, such as when the horse is on a light canter, the likelihood of sustaining minor injuries is higher, whereas high-speed equine full gallop accidents can result in severe, sometimes fatal, injuries. During a high-speed equestrian accident, the rider can experience substantial trauma, especially to the torso. The force of being thrown from a horse or colliding with an obstacle can lead to severe injuries such as broken ribs or spinal damage. The sheer force of a body making impact with material or dirt can cause organ damage and injury to the body's internal structures, leading to bruising, swelling, or more severe outcomes. In such scenarios, injury can be severe due to sudden, intense movement, common in situations where a rider is thrown from a horse, or if the horse falls and lands on the rider. A rider's head and limbs are particularly vulnerable during a fall. The head may strike the ground or an object, leading to concussions or traumatic brain injuries, regardless of whether a helmet is worn. Limbs flailing during a fall can result in fractures, dislocations, or severe sprains. Recovering from a bad horse injury accident often costs extensive rehabilitation, pain management, and surgical intervention, and some racers have had to pay an even dearer price: life itself. In 2016, barrel racer Lana Deweese, a fast-rising star in the community, was competing in a barrel racing rodeo show in southern Mississippi when disaster struck. She was one final pivot from victory when her horse, Jenny, slipped on the dirt surface while galloping out an open gate, triggering a chain reaction of tragic events. Caught off balance, Lara struggled to maintain her grip. As she regained her footing, she bolted out of the arena through a mistakenly left open gate, all the while wearing barrel racing horseshoes made for running in dirt and dust and not smooth pavement. Transitioning from dirt to asphalt, Jenny lost traction, and the abrupt loss of balance violently ejected Lara over Jenny's neck as she traveled over 6 feet high before crashing on hard concrete. Lara remained comatose for days and sadly passed away shortly after. Her lack of protective equipment, especially a helmet, was a critical factor in the gravity of Lara's injuries, sparking a conversation about the necessity of protective gear in barrel racing. These days, most barrel racers sport a combination of safety gear when racing to avoid fatal outcomes in the unfortunate case of a collision with either horse or equipment. For rodeo events such as bull riding, where riders have to stay atop a bucking bull for 8 seconds, competitors protect themselves from damage by wearing a specialized vest made of impact-absorbing material that protects the torso from the bull's blows. Their vests are designed to diffuse the force of the bull's movements rather than resist them outright. Many bull riders also wear helmets to protect their heads in case of impact with the bull or arena surface. But in barrel racing, unlike the bull riders with their vests and helmets, the focus is on speed and agility rather than direct physical confrontation with an animal. Riders like Regina Short typically do not wear extensive protective gear beyond basic riding helmets, which are not always mandatory in every competition. On that fateful day, as Regina and horse maneuvered through the course, there was no specialized vest or helmet to absorb impact, no gear to shield her from the harsh consequences of hitting a pole at high speed. When her horse unexpectedly shifted and Regina was thrown, her only defense was the instinctive bracing of her body as she collided with the wooden pole. The impact was severe, traumatic, and unfortunately, fatal. On Saturday, January 7th, 2023, Regina Short passed away at a local hospital. The cause of death was officially put down to internal bleeding and trauma from her collision with the pole. In a sport where injuries were rare and tragedy rarely rears its head, Regina Short's accidental demise stunned the tight-knit rodeo community. Her horrifying final moments unfolded not in the dirt-packed arena of a Texas rodeo, but on a hospital bed, under the urgent care of doctors striving in vain to save her life. As a sign of respect, the barrel racing show in which Regina competed was canceled and rescheduled in honor of the cowgirl whose legacy lives on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.